A woman is sitting in her car outside a Target in Sacramento, staring at a tax refund notification on her phone. $3,200. She's smiling. Most people would be smiling. She just got handed free money, except she didn't. She just found out she gave the government an interest-free loan for 12 straight months, and they're finally paying her back with zero interest, while inflation quietly ate a chunk of its value the whole time it sat there. Nobody explained this to her. Nobody explains it to almost anyone. And that's the strange thing about building wealth. The moments that feel the best are sometimes the moments you're losing. And the moments that feel the most boring are usually the ones quietly making you rich. By the end of this video, you're going to see your own bank account differently because I'm about to walk you through 10 things hiding in your ordinary week that are either building your future or slowly draining it. And almost nobody notices either one happening. There's one on this list tied to a piece of money you're probably leaving on the table every single month without knowing it. Actual free money, sitting unclaimed, and I'll get to exactly where it's hiding. But first, there's something even stranger. A habit so small, so automatic, that a team of behavioral economists built an entire retirement system around exploiting it. For your benefit, not against you. Stay with me. Both of these are worth more than anything a stock tip will ever give you. Let's start with that refund feeling, because it's the perfect trap. When money arrives in a lump sum, your brain treats it like a gift instead of what it actually is. Money that was always yours held hostage for a year. The fix isn't complicated, adjust your tax withholding, so more of your paycheck lands in your hands monthly instead of getting parked with the IRS. Then, and this is the part almost nobody does, route that extra monthly amount straight into an investment account before you ever get used to seeing it in checking. Same total money, completely different trajectory. One version sits idle for 12 months earning nothing. The other version compounds for 12 months straight. Now here's the reward I promised. In the early 2000s, economists Richard Thaler and Shlomo Benartzi ran an experiment called Save More Tomorrow. Instead of asking employees to cut their spending today, which almost everyone resists, they asked people to commit today to saving a larger slice of their future raises. Nothing changes now. The pain shows up later. And by the time later arrives, it doesn't feel like pain anymore because the money was never in your hands to miss. Savings rates in that experiment nearly quadrupled, not because people got smarter, because someone designed around human nature instead of fighting it. You can do this yourself with one phone call to HR, and it costs you nothing you'd ever notice. Which brings me to the free money I mentioned. If your employer offers a 401k match and you're contributing less than the match threshold, you are walking past cash with your name already on it, month after month, and never bending down to pick it up. A 50% match on the first 6% of your salary isn't a benefit. It's an instant, guaranteed, no-risk return that nothing on Wall Street can compete with. People spend hours researching which stock might go up. Meanwhile, there's a guaranteed return sitting in their own benefits portal that they've never even opened. Here's a reframe about insurance because almost nobody thinks of insurance as a wealth-building category, and that's exactly why it quietly costs people so much. Auto-renewal exists because insurers know inertia is profitable for them. Every year your policy renews without a second look, you're likely paying a loyalty tax, where new customers get better rates than the ones who never bothered to shop around. A single afternoon comparing quotes once a year can save $400 to $800 annually for a lot of households. That's not a coupon. That's real, recurring, permanent money, and it takes less effort than most people spend picking a show to watch on a Friday night. There's a health savings account sitting unused in a lot of paychecks too, and it might be the single most underrated account in personal finance. Money goes in tax-free, grows tax-free, and comes out tax-free for medical expenses. Triple tax advantage, something not even a Roth IRA offers. Most people treat it like a checking account for pharmacy visits and drain it every year. The people who actually build wealth with it invest the balance and pay small medical bills out of pocket instead, letting the account grow untouched for decades. Same account, Two completely different outcomes depending entirely on whether you know the account can be used that way. Let me tell you about Andre. He's a high school teacher in Phoenix, 34 years old, and for years he described himself out loud, constantly, as just not a numbers person. He said it like a fact of nature, the way you'd mention your height. Then a friend pointed out something uncomfortable. He'd never actually tested that belief. He just repeated it enough times that it became true by default, because nobody who believes they're bad with money bothers learning it. Andre spent 4 months of his commute listening to basic investing education instead of the usual podcasts. Nothing dramatic. No course, no guru. He just stopped confirming the story and started collecting evidence against it. 2 years later, he'd opened his first brokerage account and automated it. The math didn't change. The sentence in his head did, and the sentence came first. If any of these are hitting a little close to your own week, drop a comment and tell me which number you're guilty of. I read them, and honestly, half of these 10 came from comments on earlier videos just like this one. Here's one most people never think about at all, is the return window. Retailers extend 30, 60, sometimes 90 days to return something, and the data on how rarely people use it is almost embarrassing. Impulse purchases sit in closets with tags still attached long after the return window quietly closes. Because returning something requires admitting the purchase was a mistake, and most people would rather eat the cost than feel that for 5 minutes. A simple habit, setting a phone reminder for the day before any return window expires, has recovered real money for people who'd otherwise have just absorbed the loss in silence. Now, timing. Big ticket purchases have seasons, and almost nobody times them, because urgency feels more natural than patience. Appliances go on deep discount around major holiday weekends. Furniture clears out at the start of new model years. Flights follow predictable weekly pricing patterns tied to when airlines release seat inventory. None of this requires research skills most people don't have. It requires the discipline to wait 2 or 3 weeks on a non-urgent purchase instead of buying the moment desire shows up. That gap, just the gap itself, is where a meaningful percentage of your annual spending either gets protected or gets wasted. Here's a psychological one that costs more than any of the financial ones. How do you feel when you see someone clearly wealthier than you? For most people, there's a flash of something uncomfortable. Comparison, a little resentment, sometimes outright dismissal. Must be nice. Probably inherited it. Anything that closes the subject quickly because looking at it too long stings. The people who actually build wealth train themselves to do something different in that exact moment. They get curious instead of defensive. What did this person actually do? What decision, repeated enough times, led here? Envy closes the book in half a second. Curiosity keeps it open long enough to learn something. Same trigger. Two completely different financial futures depending on which reaction wins. And here's the last hidden one. Maybe the quietest of all 10. What you do with small blocks of unscheduled time, waiting rooms, lines, the 10 minutes before a meeting starts. Almost everyone defaults to the same reflex, pulling out a phone and opening whatever app is fastest to load, usually something built specifically to be difficult to put back down. A small number of people have started using those exact same minutes to build one specific monetizable skill in short bursts: writing, basic design, a technical skill, anything that compounds into freelance income or a side business over months, not overnight. 10 minutes doesn't feel like it matters. Stacked across a year, it's dozens of hours nobody else in your position is spending on themselves. Here's the pivot, and it's worth sitting with for a second. Every single one of these 10 things was already inside your week before you clicked on this video. Not one of them required extra income. Not one required a lucky break, a rich relative, or timing the market. They required attention pointed in a slightly different direction than everyone else points theirs. That's the actual gap between people who build wealth and people who don't. It was never really about the amount of money coming in. It's about how much attention gets paid to the money that's already moving through their hands every single day in the boring, forgettable, unremarkable moments nobody bothers to examine. Think about the woman in that Target parking lot again, smiling at a number that should have made her a little frustrated instead. That's not a story about her being bad with money. That's a story about a system nobody ever explained to her, sitting right there in plain sight the whole time, waiting for someone to actually look. So don't try to fix all 10 this week. Pick one: the withholding, the match, the insurance shop around. Just one done this week, while it's still fresh in your head. That's how every person who's ever built real wealth actually started. Not with all 10, just with the first one they refused to keep ignoring. If this changed how you're going to look at your own paycheck, hit like, share it with your loved ones who need this, and subscribe for more insights. I'll see you in the next one.